Alright.
So the second thing I would cover will be customer. So I'll open maintain customer here. So when we want to create a new customer, we just click new, which is at this upper right hand side here. We click new to create a new customer. Alright, so I understand today we have a few companies participating in today's training. So each company might have different business nature, and each company might have different customer type. For some company, or for some participants here, your customer might be business to business, where other companies are your customers. While some companies might be on an individual basis, consumer basis, let's say, your customers are the end users, which are more likely to see business consumers. So for the third type, which means if, let's say your customers are on a walking basis. For example, you are doing a convenience store business. So your customers might be all walking customers. In this case, we have 3 types of customers. So during this training, now I will create an example for all these 3 types of customer. So I will create the first type, which will be our business-to-business customer. So when we look over here, company, here we will enter the full company name of your customer. Let's say, for example, my customer is Air Asia Berhad. In this company name here, I will enter Air Asia Berhad. Next, registration number. So registration number is a mandatory field for e-invoice, so you may click on this search function here. This search function will straight over link to SMS database. You just need to select your customer's company name and details and click OK. Another system will be able to capture the registration number. So, but if let's say your customer is a new company, the SMS database might have not been updated yet. In this case, you might need to get the registration number from your customer and key in manually. So down here is an optional field, which is the customer category. So customer category is an optional field. It depends on how you want to classify your customers or how you want to categorize your customers. So, for example, for today's training, let's say for example, I have customers who are B2B and I have customers who are B2C. If let's say I want to split this into 2 groups of customers or 2 categories, I can click on the drop-down. Click New to create the first category. Let's say the first category will be B2B. This will be used to categorize all my business-to-business customers. I save it and click New again. To create the second category, let's say B2C. So once it's done, I just click Save and that's it. So you can also use company category to classify, let's say, your customers. You have dealer distributors. You have different types of customers. You can also use this company category function to categorize them. So once you have done creating all the categories needed, you just close this window and select the correct category. So down here, we have address. Address is a compulsory field. We must enter them through address. So over here again, an example address. Country code is also mandatory. The postcode city-state are mandatory as well. So let's say this Air Asia is from a postcode. I just key in the postcode and I click enter on the keyboard. The system will be able to automatically capture the city and state. So another most important mandatory field will be contact number. So over here, you must enter your customer's contact number. So these are all the e-invoice mandatory field. So next we come to the bottom. These are all optional fields. So we have area. So area depends on whether if you would use area to classify your customers or not. So for example, you have customers from different countries or customers from different states and different cities. In this case, you may use area to classify them. So for example, I have customers from Kuala Lumpur and customers from Selangor. I can click in this area here. Click New to create all the areas I needed. Save it and create a new one, KL. And I save it. So let's say Air Asia is from Kuala Lumpur. In this area here, I just select Kuala Lumpur. Agent here. It depends on whether if you would assign a specific person in charge for your customer or not, let's say the salesperson. For AirAsia, or the person in charge for AirAsia, is Peter. So we just click on this drop down here. We click New, and we create the agent name. We save it. Then we come back to agent here. We assign the agent name. So the system would know that Peter is in charge of this customer. So if let's say, if you do not have a specific salesperson, you may just leave this agent as default. So next, currency. So for all participating company here, your Excel account is basic set, which only supports Malaysian ringgit. So this currency, if we just leave it, we use for dashes. For dashes refers to the default home currency. So next we have these credit terms. So credit terms. The system has 3 default types of credit terms: 30 days, 60 days, and COD. So let's say you have your own term, 7 days. You just click at this right-hand side here, New, and create a new term. Let's say 7 days. Description as well. Most importantly, the number of days. Here we have to enter 7. Because the system, they calculate 7 days based on the number of days entered here. So once done, we just click Save. And that's it. SO, for example, AirAsia is on a 7-day term. Credit terms here, we select 7 days. Down here will be the credit limit amount. Alright, so if let's say 50,000 is your credit limit amount, so you may just change it to 50,000. Alright, so now we come to note here. So in this note section, we have the remark, business nature, and note. So these are all for additional information for your own reference. Alright, so if let's say you have some important information regarding this customer for your reference, you may enter it under note here. So anything key under note here is PNC. It will be only available for internal reference only. So next we have tax. So if let's say your customer, they have their own tax code, you may enter their tax code, sales tax number here, or their service tax number here. So here will be their business registration number. And also their TIN number. So business registration number and TIN number are mandatory field for e-invoice. And down here we have the exemption number. So let's say your customers, they have SST, but they are exempted from it. So in this case, you may enter their exemption number and also their exemption expire date. So that's all for the customer profile here. So once it's done, you just click Save. And that's it. So now I'm going to create for the second type of customers. Let's say we have individuals as customers. So we just click New. The company name here, we must enter the full name of the customer. We can leave this registration number as blank because this is not a company. For this category, here is optional. Let's say it's changing to business to consumer. Address must also be entered as full in full address. Country must be selected and the postcode as well. And of course the contact number. So down here. Alright, so down here, email is an optional field. So after this is done, all this information has been entered. For individual customers, we come to text here. ID type, we select NRIC number. So if let's say your customer is a foreigner or is a tourist non-Malaysian, we select passport number. So let's say your customer is a Malaysian, we select NRIC, and here we will enter their IC number. Alright, so let's say this is my IC number. So remember, when you are keying the IC number, there will be no spacing and no dashes. And down here, we will be your customer's IC and TIN number. Alright, so for e-invoice submission, you are encouraged to obtain the IC and TIN number from your customer. But sometimes, in the event of let's say your clients, your customers, they are unable to provide the TIN number. In this case, NRIC or password is mandatory. In this team number here, you will leave it as blank and switch into general public, which is a general team. But the condition is, and our IC number must be filled out first. So once this is done, you just click Save. And that's it. So that's how we create an individual customer profile. So for the last type of customers, if let's say you are on your business system is on a walk-in basis, so you may click New. In this company name here, I'll create a cash sales, a very general cash sales. So this general customer code will be used to represent all my walk-in customers. Or of course, you can change it to any other name you wanted. So for cash sales, because usually cash sales, they do not require individual e-invoice. They will only require consolidated e-invoice. In this case, you may leave all these details as blank. So most importantly, e-invoice submission here. We switch from individual e-invoice to consolidate e-invoice. And we come to text here. We can leave this ID type as blank because this is our all walk-in customers. But just the team number here, we must change it to general public. So once this is done, you can click save, and that's it. So if let's say you have created your customers, go back to the customer listing, you would like to click on the back button. On SQL here, browse is your back button. On this right hand side here, under refresh, there's a browse. So this browse is actually the back button. Just click browse, and the system will bring you back to this customer listing. So that's how we maintain for a customer. So now, I'll go into the supplier part. So I'll open Supplier. And open Maintain Supplier. So I just click New to create a new supplier. So when I come to this page, the way to enter information for supplier is almost identical to customers. So of course here we enter this supplier information. But all this layout here is somehow similar to customer. So for supplier, we just entered the company name. Let's say it's an ABC sequence number. We may also search for their registration number. And we would have to seek for their industry code. So when creating this subject profile here, you also need to get the MSIC code of your supplier and key into the system. So if you are not sure which MSIC code your supplier is using, you might need to consult with your supplier. So address, I would suggest that you fill out the full address. Country as well. The postcode. And also the attention, like who's the person in charge. And also the contact number. Credit terms will follow back. The credit terms granted by your supplier. So when you come to e-invoice submission here, so if let's say your supplier is a Malaysian company, e-invoice submission, here we put none. But if let's say you are buying from Taobao, you are buying from Amazon, or you are importing goods or services from foreign countries, for this specific foreign supplier e-invoice submission, we must change it to self-view, alright. For foreign suppliers, they are not going to provide you e-invoice. In this case, you need to self-view them. So e-invoice submission, we change it to self-view. Classification code. We select the correct classification code. So let's say if you are buying goods from overseas. The self-bill here, we select 34 importation of goods. But if let's say you are buying services, or maybe subscribing to services from a foreign country. In this case, we select 035, importation of services. So next we come to note here. So, here is also additional information for your suppliers. And the most importantly, we come to tax here. So if let's say, in the event of, you need to self-view your supplier. If let's say it's a foreign supplier, the TIN number here, we must select foreign supplier. If let's say you are buying from Taobao or Amazon, for the TIN number, if you select it as foreign supplier. So once all this information has been done, we can click save. And that's how we create a supplier profile. Alright, so that's all for the customer and supplier. Thank you.